Chapter 10. The Portals. Before Oto-Mani and Diodi stretched a long gray stone corridor. Curiously, the corridor was broken into a series of chambers that were decorated with clear royal flourishes of red drapes, carpets, paintings, busts upon pedestals, intricate archways, and ornate lanterns. Oto-Mani shot a puzzled look at Diodi. The map says we're supposed to walk this way, but I've never seen these palace passageways. Diodi timidly agreed, me neither. Oto-Mani halted. Why are there so many furnishings and passageways that few if any people will use? Diodi crumpled his nose. Are you going to ask questions every 30 paces of this odyssey? Oto-Mani's laughter echoed down the corridor. Come on, wise-mouthed man. He grabbed his lover's hand, and they walked forward. It seemed like they stepped through endless chamber after chamber, each as elegantly decorated as the next, except that they were luxury furnishings inside what was essentially a lengthy cave. They came to one additional red-carpeted chamber that at its end had a finely crafted door trimmed in gold-painted carvings. What was different about this chamber, however, was that off to the side hung an enormous spider web suspended from the rafters. Oto-Mani halted, remembering the vision or premonition in the forest. Diodi recalled Oto-Mani's telling of his visions in the throne room and more tightly held his beloved's hand. Does that remind you of that vision of the spider? Oto-Mani wordlessly nodded his head. Well, these little spiders seem harmless, Diodi reassured Oto-Mani. He added, in fact, they remind me of the little spider that was in our bed a while back in. His voice trailed off as he focused more intently at the web swinging from the rafters. Soon he noticed it was no ordinary web. It appeared to be woven out of gossamer strands of light, akin to starlight. Its spider inhabitants busied themselves repairing the web, and they too were made out of light. Oto-Mani shook Diodi's hand. I am awake, right? Diodi kissed his hand. Yes, sweet man. It's all right. Those little spiders actually are kinda cute. Oto-Mani humorlessly replied. Yeah, cute until they are the size of a horse. Let's get going. After several lengths, their journey through royal corridors transitioned into them, navigating cave tunnels that had small rock boulders strewn across their paths. Careful to not twist their ankles, they walked over the large stones for a long while, but felt the strain in their leg muscles. Fortunately, they at last saw a light and clearing ahead of them that indicated they might have smoother travel. And after a few turns, they indeed were in a corridor whose masonry craftsmanship was as fine as any outside palace walkway. Glistening from their exertions, Diodi asked, Muzi, who do you think built all of these corridors? Oto-Mani shrugged. I was asking the same question in my head, my love. I have no idea. Who lit the lanterns we saw in those corridors? I've lived all of my life in the palace, and I'm not even certain we're still under the palace, though it is a gigantic complex. Time passed slowly, and as they walked, occasionally talking but trying to save their breath, the tunnel grew darker, fewer lanterns along the way. They also noticed that they were walking on a slight but steady decline, as though the corridors were burrowing deeper into the earth. They squinted their eyes to adjust to the lower levels of light. Shortly, something came into view that at first seemed like an out-of-place sight. A woman in white. Oto-Mani said, My love, do you see someone up ahead or am I hallucinating once again? Diodi snickered. Muzi, yes, I see her. You're not hallucinating. That clearly is your sister-in-law, Ola-Rhea. Rhea, shouted Oto-Mani. What are you doing here? There stood the lovely Lady Ola-Rhea in her signature cream white robes trimmed in gold. Her shoulders were bare, and her pregnant belly noticeably protruded, but as always she exuded strength and assurance. She was tired from having to walk a long way in her present condition. I couldn't let the two of you have all the fun. She grinned through a heavy sigh. Rhea, how did you get here? Asked Oto-Mani, and then Diodi added, and more importantly, why are you here? I got here the same way you did. The High Priestess gave me directions, and the reason I'm here is because I have to be. Now, you know very well that I carry your heir. Her head pointed subtly at Oto-Mani while she rubbed her stomach. Yes, but... Well, it is not safe for me in the royal palace or anywhere in Makana since you abdicated the throne. I didn't even have time to change into traveling clothes. Your enemies are on the hunt. Rhea, I didn't abdicate, but Lord Kotore and the Viper Wolves forced my hand. I wouldn't let them force me to arrest Diodi. I know the ways of the Minister of Law and his offices. Suspects in the royal dungeon have a nasty habit of not coming out alive. Besides, the visions of the Great Mother told me that I had to take the bold actions that I did. This is all so bizarre. Diodi sounded wearier than Ola-Rhea, and she carried another person in her body. Well, we are all exiles now, Rhea said. But Rhea, you can't go anywhere in your condition. Aren't you close to giving birth? An exile journey is not made for. Shut up, I'm pregnant, not disabled. Come on, time is wasting, you silly boys. She hitched her gowns up higher and rapidly walked down the pathway, obviously knowing where she was going. Happy that there were now a close-knit band of 3, but anxious to know where the map of the High Priestess led. They took 500 more steps, steadily sloping downwards. Then suddenly, all around them, a cloud of gloom descended, chilling their bones. It was like the very pores of the stone walls began to secrete a ghostly vapor whose purpose was to obscure their way. They shivered as they swatted at the drifting fog, not certain if it was naturally occurring, due to the depths of their descent, or something conjured by spirits whose bodies were buried in nearby caves. The fog lifted, and then they immediately got their answer.
"Oh no,"
said Diodi, more peeved than frightened. But Ola-Rhea and Oto-Mani were startled by the vision ahead. With flames burning in her palms as she stood before a round portal whose perimeter was rimmed with huge human bones, a goddess stood before them, dressed in a drab color that matched the stones. "Please do not be afraid," she warmly said without moving her lips, as though speaking directly into their minds. She looked like Mother Oto-Ma, but the warmth of her voice was not that of Oto-Ma. Far too nice. As Oto-Mani and Ola-Rhea were about to kneel, she said, "Do not waste time bowing. I must tell you something right away."
"I've come to express our pride in you. Your ancestors are proud of you too."
"You have had the courage to answer the call. Thank you." The 3 looked at each other, puzzled as to why this goddess was thanking them, mere mortals. "I am Mother Awama. Do not let the fire fool you." She gave a kindly grin. "I bring a message from my sisters. I know you are most familiar with my older sister, Oto-Ma. She is very straightforward." She giggled with a tinge of sarcasm in her gentle voice. "Yes, we are too familiar, if that doesn't sound disrespectful, Great Mother," said Diodi. He was relieved that the second sister of water, love, and fertility was before them, and not her meaner older sister. "No, my beloved child. You are just honestly expressing your frustration with how we have terribly meddled in your affairs. Please forgive us. It was a necessity, because your mission is the most important mission to confront humankind since creation. You are about to pass through the portal of no return in your quest for the Mother Crystal." "Yes, our map indicates we should pass through it," Ola-Rhea confirmed. "But Great Mother, our map does not give us any other information than entering this portal. And we do not know exactly why we must find this crystal, and how it will bring truth and justice to the realm." "I know," replied Awama. "Unfortunately, I cannot tell you what the future holds, because if you knew, you might change your path, and that could lead to oblivion. We need the 3 of you to follow your heads and hearts, your wise heads and good hearts, as you receive occasional signs from us. Don't be annoyed. They are necessary. Understood?" All 3 said in unison, "Yes, Great Mother." Once you pass through this portal, you will be transported far away to another realm called Makana. Only a rare few Rakani have ever entered Makana, at least not in a long time. So, they will likely assume you are one of them. That includes that sweet unborn child in your stomach, my daughter. Awama paused to quickly cast a blessing upon Ola-Rhea and her child. Awama resumed, "Take second names. Oto-Mani, you take Uzi, Diodi take Odi, and Ola-Rhea take Area. Claim no other ties to clan or family other than the ties among you. Blend in as much as you possibly can. Makana believes it is a perfect society that is very loving and accepting. They will not be suspicious of you unless they know who you are. Be careful, but find the crystal. Find the crystal. Understood?" Again in unison, "Yes, Great Mother." In order that you may pass through this portal and pass undetected, we have cast the frozen spell on the border guards who are on the other end. Once you are transported to Makana, wedge past these warriors guarding this portal on the other side, and get as far away from the portal as you can, before they wake up. We love you, my children. You have our blessings." And with these words, Mother Awama evaporated into a mystic steam like a water droplet on a hot frying pan. Then the stones covering the portal entrance dissolved into thin air. As the three stepped through the open portal, they saw pitch-black darkness, but had an unsettling sensation of their bodies being transported through space to a second location. On the other side, two warriors were facing away from the travelers. These men appeared to be twins. Based on the direction they were facing, they were guarding individuals from escaping their society, rather than guarding against intruders from coming in. They were frozen, stiff as wax statues, holding long spears and shields. So three newly renamed travelers, Yuzi, Oto-Mani, Odi, Diodi, and area Ola-Rhea, maneuvered and slipped past these paralyzed men, stooping and twisting, so not to knock the men over.
Now, good people, please like, comment, and subscribe to catch the next thrilling episode of Red Circles of Fire.